Hey guys, Kevin Baxter at Pro Twin Performance back again. If you remember, a few weeks ago I did a video on chain drive versus gear drive cams, and I was actually really surprised at what the response was on that video. We ended up putting it up on YouTube too, and I think we had something like 50,000 views on it within the first 3 or 4 days or something like that. So obviously it's information that you guys really care about. So if you've been following along, you know we've got some pretty cool bike projects going on right now, one of which is the FXR71 project. And you'll know I've been working on getting the power plant built up, and today I got the cam chest installed and everything, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to do a quick, brief little follow-up video on the gear drive, because we had talked about backlash, we had talked about run out on the crank, and so I got my email box and message box was flooded with questions about run out and backlash and things like that. So there's a couple of little things that I wanted to show you guys. So what we're working with, I'll go ahead and flip the camera here. Cam chest here for project FXR71. Now the flywheels for this one we actually got from Dark Horse Crankworks. We've been working with Dark Horse for quite a number of years, and I think close to 15 years now, and they've never let us down. So we're great to be partnered up with Dark Horse. The set of wheels they did on this engine for me actually came back with less than 6/10 total indicated run out. So 6/10, that's 0.0006 of an inch measured at the end of the pinion shaft. So as the country song says, that's close enough to perfect for me. So we're dealing with 6/10 total indicated run out on this wheel. This a couple of little, I guess we could call it tech tips on doing backlash, but I want to give you the visual first. So here we're talking about this would be 99 to 06, but gear drive for the late model stuff looks pretty much the same. Hey Julie, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you watching. So what we're dealing with here, this of course is the pinion gear here, this is the cam gear here. You'll see I've already put assembly lube on it, so there's that'll have a small effect on something. But anytime you're fitting this, of course you're measuring the run out on your pinion shaft here, without the cam plate in it, without anything on it, just the pinion shaft's hanging out, and that's where you get your run out. So your target here is 3 thousandths or less. 3 thousandths is marginal for me, but you can run with 3 thousandths. Now when we refer to backlash, what we're talking about is with the crank held firmly stationary, and you rotate this gear slightly in both directions, what you're targeting is 1/2 to 1/1000 of an inch in backlash. 1/2 to 1/1000 of an inch total backlash. Now if I had not put assembly lube on this already, if I were to grab the gear and rock it back and forth, you would hear a very, very slight tink, tink, tink as the gears come into contact here. And you would hear that, and then of course what you would have here is a dial indicator coming off the teeth, and you would rock that back and forth and look for that 1/2 to 1/1000. Now what you want to do when you're measuring that, you also want to rotate. I like to rotate the crank in 4 different positions and measure that, because if you figure you've got a little bit of run out down here, what you don't want is a tight spot. All right. Oh, hey Mark, how you doing? Mark just popped in. He's Mark's with Speed and Science. And actually, what we're working on with Mark here, Speed and Science has provided the cores for us, and we're working on some pretty cool stuff on the billet heads, which actually are sitting right here. Absolute artwork here, so cool to see you pop in, Mark. I appreciate it. So these are going to be the heads for project FXR71. So anyway, we're going to jump back to this. Now, once you put the assembly lube here on the gears, you won't hear that click anymore. And it's such a precise fit that sometimes that can affect the actual indicated reading on the backlash. So anytime you fit this stuff up, you want to make sure that you do it dry. And the other thing is, you'll torque this one down, but don't torque this one down just yet, because you may find yourself having to pull this one and reinstall it several times to get it just right. Now, typically when you buy a gear drive cam set, it comes with a standard size pinion gear. Now, S&S does have undersized gears available, so you can get the backlash just right. But sometimes, when you go with a 1 thou undersized gear here, you can have a little too much. You can have a thou and a half when you're doing your 4-position measurements, and that can make for a kind of a little bit of a whiny or a clanky gear drive. So I want to show you something interesting here. I always keep a wide array of pinion gears here, not just oversized, but in standard size. And I don't know if you guys can see it real close. This is a part number 334160, which is S&S's part number. If you look, each pinion gear looks a little bit different, yet it's the exact same part number, and it's measured what would theoretically be the exact same size. But as with anything that is machined, there is a manufacturing tolerance. Okay, so each one of these gears, again, notice how it is slightly different in appearance, which means it's either, you know, they've either made a slight change, different manufacturer, or something like that. But regardless, so we keep this wide array here, even with the undersized ones, because on this particular gear that we ended up using, this is actually, oops, the camera flipped. Sorry about that. Let me flip it back. The gear that we ended up installing in this one is the 334160, which is the exact same part number as the other 3 that are here. Except I put this one in, and I had a little over 1,000ths backlash. I put this one in, I had under half a thou. I put this one in, and I had 1,5 thou. This one I put in here, measuring in all 4 locations all the way around, I had my exact target half thou to 1,000th of an inch backlash on that, even though we're dealing with the exact same part numbers. So it may seem anal, it may seem trivial, but the bottom line is, if you guys are trusting us with your money to blueprint and build you the best engine we can possibly do, little details like this make an enormous difference. And if it's fitted exactly the way this is, with that low of a run out, thanks to Dark Horse Crankworks, and and taking the time to check each individual gear and get that backlash just right on the money, that gear drive will be whisper quiet and last virtually forever. So thanks a bunch, guys, for watching. We appreciate you tuning in, following along, and keep watching. Stay tuned for updates on FXR71 and our heads that are going to be coming soon. That's pretty exciting. So thanks again for popping in, Mark, Tony, Larry. I see you're in here. Mike Jones, good to see you, Mike. Thanks for popping in, guys. I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourself.